When a woman begins to distance herself, most men see it as rejection, but often it's not rejection, it's reflection. Her silence, her withdrawal, her emotional unavailability, these are signals, not punishments. They are mirrors showing you what's been missing in the dynamic. Maybe it's presence, maybe it's emotional depth, maybe it's the leadership and composure she once admired in you, but no longer feels. Whatever it is, her distance becomes a powerful invitation for you to look within instead of reacting outwardly. You see, when connection fades, it's rarely sudden. Women disconnect emotionally long before they disconnect physically. And when she begins to pull away, she's not testing your words, she's observing your essence. Do you lose control? Do you start pleading for her attention? Or do you pause and reflect on the energy you've been bringing into the relationship? Because a woman's withdrawal is often not about disinterest, it's about imbalance. Something in the connection has shifted, and her silence becomes the only language left to express it. This is the point where emotional intelligence matters most. You can either view her distance as a threat and chase what's slipping away, or you can view it as feedback, a chance to realign with your own strength. The truth is, a woman cannot be inspired by a man who is ruled by fear. But she will always be drawn to a man who can stay centered in uncertainty, who doesn't lose his identity when someone steps back. So when she distances herself, don't rush to close the gap. Stand still, breathe, and ask yourself, asterisk, what is this space revealing to me? Asterisk, because sometimes the silence isn't her rejecting you. It's life redirecting you. And the man who listens to reflection instead of reacting to rejection always evolves. The moment she starts pulling away, most men feel a wave of panic. They sense the shift and instantly react, sending messages, calling repeatedly, trying to fix something that can't be fixed through force. But here's the truth. When you chase someone who's stepping back, you're not really chasing her, you're chasing your sense of control. You're trying to escape the discomfort of uncertainty. Yet, it's that very discomfort that holds your greatest power. When you resist the impulse to chase, you're not being cold, you're being conscious. You're teaching yourself emotional discipline, the ability to respond instead of react, because chasing doesn't bring closeness, it brings resistance. It tells her that your emotions depend on her validation, that your peace can be disturbed by her absence. And nothing kills attraction faster than emotional dependence. The psychology behind this is simple but profound. The more someone feels you need them to feel complete, the less space they have to feel free. And freedom is what every human being, man or woman, craves most. So when she pulls away, give her that freedom. Give her the space to breathe, to think, to miss you. Let your silence communicate strength, not resentment. Let your calm become the contrast to the chaos she might expect. In a world where everyone is reacting, the person who can stay still becomes magnetic. Stillness isn't passivity, it's power under control. It's the kind of strength that quietly says, asterisk, I don't need to chase what's already meant for me. Asterisk, because when you learn to master the impulse to chase, you shift from desperation to dignity. And that's the moment she begins to see you differently, not as someone trying to win her back, but as someone who's already found himself. When a woman begins to pull away, your first instinct might be to try and win her attention back, to remind her of what you once were together. But what most people don't realize is that energy cannot be forced. It must be realigned. The more you focus on her absence, the more you drain the very energy that once made you magnetic. Instead of trying to fill that void with her presence, fill it with your own purpose. Reclaim your energy, because that's where attraction is born again. Every human connection thrives on polarity. When you lose yourself in someone else, that polarity fades. Your confidence, your focus, your sense of direction, those are the traits that once drew her in. But when your world starts revolving entirely around her, that gravitational pull weakens. So when she distances herself, see it as your cue to return to your axis. Pour that attention back into your growth mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Get back to the version of yourself that existed before you started depending on her validation. When you shift your energy inward, everything changes. You start to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Your silence stops being emptiness, it becomes strength. And women, whether consciously or not, sense that. They feel when a man is centered, when he doesn't need their approval to feel significant. That's not arrogance, that's self-possession, and it's deeply attractive. The truth is, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop clinging. You love without losing yourself, you give without expecting in return. And that kind of energy is powerful because it creates space for mutual respect to grow again. Remember, when your focus shifts from her to your own evolution, you stop chasing love and start embodying it. When a woman goes silent, most men only hear absence. But silence is rarely empty, it's full of meaning if you know how to listen. When she stops talking, she's not always finished, sometimes she's watching. She's observing how you handle uncertainty, how you manage emotion, how you behave when you no longer feel in control. Her silence becomes a psychological mirror, reflecting not her feelings for you, but your relationship with yourself. You see, emotional maturity isn't shown when things are easy. It's revealed in moments when communication breaks down. If she's quiet and you immediately react with anger, insecurity, or desperation, you confirm her doubts. But if you can stay composed, if you can hold your peace without turning cold, you communicate something far deeper than words ever could. You show that you're grounded. You show that you can handle space without fear. That kind of stability is what makes someone emotionally safe to be around. Many people misunderstand silence as rejection, when in reality it's a test not of love, but of alignment. Can you remain calm in the unknown? Can you respect someone's distance without demanding their attention? Because the truth is, her silence speaks volumes, but it takes self-awareness to translate it. The philosophy behind this is simple. What you do in moments of silence defines the future of the connection. You can either create pressure or you can create peace. The one who chooses peace earns respect, and respect is the foundation of attraction. So, when she stops speaking, don't rush to fill the space. Let your calm become the language she hears. Because sometimes silence doesn't need to be broken, it just needs to be understood. When she starts to ignore you, the natural temptation is to either chase her endlessly or shut down completely, to swing between obsession and indifference. But neither of these extremes holds power. What truly shifts the dynamic is learning to stay unavailable, yet not uninterested. It's a delicate balance, the ability to care without clinging, to remain open without overextending. This is what emotional maturity looks like in action. Being unavailable doesn't mean you play games or pretend you don't care. It means your time, your attention, your energy, they carry value. You no longer offer them freely to someone who's unsure of what they want. Instead, you invest them in your purpose, your peace, your personal evolution, because the moment you start valuing yourself, the energy around you changes, she feels it, your silence feels different. Your absence feels intentional, you're no longer reacting to her behavior, you're leading with self-respect, and that's where the psychological shift happens. When you pull back with calmness, you create contrast. Suddenly, your detachment isn't rejection, it's magnetism. She begins to sense the difference between the man who seeks approval and the man who already has self-assurance. That difference awakens curiosity. It reactivates attraction. The paradox of human connection is that we're drawn to what's scarce, not what's desperate. When you become selective with your energy, you naturally become desirable again, not because you're pretending to be hard to get, but because you've finally become hard to lose. So don't prove your worth through pursuit. Prove it through presence. Let your silence, your focus, and your discipline speak for you. Because in the end, the one who values himself first becomes the one others cannot ignore. When she starts to ignore you, the natural temptation is to either chase her endlessly or shut down completely, to swing between obsession and indifference. But neither of these extremes holds power. What truly shifts the dynamic is learning to stay unavailable, yet not uninterested. It's a delicate balance, the ability to care without clinging, to remain open without overextending. This is what emotional maturity looks like in action. Being unavailable doesn't mean you play games or pretend you don't care. It means your time, your attention, your energy, they carry value. You no longer offer them freely to someone who's unsure of what they want. Instead, you invest them in your purpose, your peace, your personal evolution, because the moment you start valuing yourself, the energy around you changes, she feels it, your silence feels different. Your absence feels intentional. You're no longer reacting to her behavior, you're leading with self-respect. And that's where the psychological shift happens. When you pull back with calmness, you create contrast. Suddenly, your detachment isn't rejection, it's magnetism. She begins to sense the difference between the man who seeks approval and the man who already has self-assurance. That difference awakens curiosity. It reactivates attraction. The paradox of human connection is that we're drawn to what's scarce, not what's desperate. When you become selective with your energy, you naturally become desirable again, not because you're pretending to be hard to get, but because you've finally become hard to lose. So don't prove your worth through pursuit. Prove it through presence. Let your silence, your focus, and your discipline speak for you, because in the end, the one who values himself first becomes the one others cannot ignore. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is no move at all. When a woman distances herself, it's easy to believe that doing more, saying more, proving more will fix things. But love doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to presence, and presence doesn't always mean action. Sometimes it means allowing space to work its quiet magic. You see, in distance, emotions have room to breathe, the chaos settles, the noise fades, and what's real eventually rises to the surface. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you begin to understand one of life's simplest truths: what is meant for you doesn't need to be chased. When you give her that silence, you allow curiosity to grow. She begins to wonder how you managed to stay so calm, how you didn't fall apart, how you turned absence into strength. That curiosity slowly turns into respect, and respect is what reignites attraction. Philosophically, distance is not the end of connection, it's the testing ground of it. It separates attachment from alignment. If she's truly meant for your path, space will only refine the bond, not destroy it. And if she isn't, that same silence will protect you from forcing what was never meant to be. The irony is, the moment you stop needing her to return is often the moment she starts to, because energy follows certainty. When you become grounded in yourself, life mirrors that back through the people around you. So don't fear the distance, don't fight it, let it reveal what words couldn't. Because real connection doesn't vanish in silence, it deepens through it. And sometimes the best way to bring her back is to finally stop trying.